Welcome back to Second Breakfast and our ongoing Summerween series, celebrating hot weather and horror movies by bringing you the best thoughts, theories, and a literary analysis all summer long.
I was so excited to talk about this one, and I say that because I wasn't excited at all when you told me you wanted to do an episode about it. But then when I realized, every time we have a discussion about a movie I really didn't like, we have a really great time.
Exactly.
So,
and that's a good place to start. This movie didn't really work for us, but I do think there's a lot to talk about.
Awesome.
And this is unusual because usually I have a bunch of notes and theories I want to talk through and get to. This one, I have a question, and I don't really have an answer to it. So this is a real discussion, and that's not just Maggie and I, that's also you listening. Whether it's down in the comments on YouTube, whether it's emailing us, secondbreakfastpod@gmail.com, however you want to talk to us, comment section over on Patreon. I want this to be a more communal chat.
Sure, I would too. So of course, this is Clown at a Cornfield.
Yes, spoilers abound. So we've been thinking about scary clowns lately. This is part of Summerween. The first Summerween episode that we did this year was Hell House LLC, which you think of as a found footage movie, but it's very much the scariest clown ever put on film.
I was going to say, every time I think about that clown, I get real upset. But check out that episode for my full thoughts there.
It's kind of an indirect clown movie.
Yeah.
And I was thinking back to Clown in the Cornfield, which we saw a few weeks ago at this point. Also, shout out an indie horror movie that was made for under $1 million and made multiple millions the first weekend.
That's pretty good.
That is a cracking at bat. That is a win for everyone, always celebrating when indie horror does well.
Well, right. And when we went into this movie, we knew it probably wasn't going to be very good, but we said, bad horror is still fun. Like, it's still good. It's like pizza in that way. The worst pizza you've ever had, it's still pizza. So, it's still good.
Right. And we needed a horror movie at this particular moment. We needed kind of a dumb slasher. And as a compliment, that's what this was.
Yes.
But it's also kind of indirectly a scary clown movie.
Yeah.
And that's
for
where, I think that's where I was wrestling with it. Because trying to identify this movie, spoilers for everything, it's sort of a satire. It's sort of a slasher. There's a little bit of parody in there.
I was gonna say, there's a little element of Scream, kind of.
Yes,
it's just kind of meta.
A touch of meta, but also kind of a passing interest, and I don't know if this is more or less in the source novel, but there's a passing interest in politics and commentary as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fun ensemble as sort of the send-up exaggeration of the high school group
of teens.
It's got a bunch of twists, and the clown, Frendo, is not what he seems. This is why I had to say spoilers before.
Sure, yeah.
We find out eventually that he's not a clown. It's just a mask that people are wearing. There's also more than one Frendo.
It's like the whole town. Yeah.
It's a collective. He uses guns, knives, walkie-talkies. It's a coordinated and lethal group.
Yeah.
Lots of fun kills with rakes and backhoes and spearing and skewering and stalking.
I will say the kills in this movie, very creative, very inventive. Really enjoyed them.
Goofy. In a good way.
Yes.
Always in a good way.
Yes.
But the problem that I think I had with the movie, and this is not just critique, it's conversation. None of the clowns, because there's this kind of, multitude of friendos.
Yeah.
None of them ever scared me.
That's the thing.
And the question I want to play with here, and I haven't told you this before, the big question is, why isn't Frendo scary?
That's a great question. Yeah, and I think people talk a lot about how it's easy to make a horror movie, just put some blood, make things spooky and scary, and it's pretty easy. But I think it's really hard to make a movie scary nowadays. Even if you are relying on, intense sound effects, booming musical cues, easy jump scares, it's easy to make an audience jump, but I don't think it's easy to make an audience feel afraid. And
I don't think there's anything easy about horror.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think
it's just the most disrespected genre.
Yes, right. And you can make it for cheap, but that doesn't mean it's easy to do. So I think that's important to say. I don't know. I mean, because his character design, the costume is unnerving. It's creepy.
Do you think so?
I think so. I mean, there are scarier ones, see Hell House. But I mean, I don't think it's an unscary clown. But I also think most clowns are kind of fucking scary. I just don't like them. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, as a kid, I wasn't afraid of them. We had this great clown in my town growing up.
Boy.
And her name was Doodlebug. And she was so sweet. She came to my 5th birthday party.
No murders.
I had maybe it was my 4th birthday, whatever. No murders that I know of. I had a 4th or 5th birthday party that was Halloween themed, and she came, and it was so much fun. Maybe we'll post pictures somewhere on Instagram. I don't know.
Maybe,
but maybe we'll see. But do we want to do that?
Because I was thinking, I was trying to check myself because I'm afraid of certain things. They spook me more than others.
Yeah.
Spiders, I don't like.
Well, yeah.
I don't even like them in fantasy movies when they're big. Why are there always big spiders?
They're always so big, yeah.
But clowns have never really scared me. But then on the other hand, there are plenty of clowns within the horror genre that scare the shit out of me. Art the Clown in Terrifier. Horrifying.
Yeah.
Or terrifying.
Yeah.
Billy the Puppet in Saw, when he rides out on his little bike.
Hate that.
Scary. The noise he makes.
Scary, yeah.
Or even the clown in Hell House. So
Yeah.
I don't have a predisposition towards clowns, but I can be scared by clowns.
Right. I mean, it's not the scariest clown I've seen. Like, there are much worse clowns out there. But I maybe it's more that just like, how early in the movie is it revealed that it's like more than one person?
It's when they're at that house party or in the
In the big barn.
cabin, the barn.
Yeah.
After the failed encounter with the boy.
So it's pretty late, actually.
It takes a minute.
Maybe it's because, like, at the beginning of the movie, you learn that it's like this group of kids are making videos and it's them dressing up as the clown. So you know what it is? It's because they have a Frendo costume also. You, as the audience, know there's another clown somewhere out there actually killing people. But they sort of debunk and demystify the Frendo costume at the very beginning by having the kids dressing up as him. I wonder if that's why.
I like that explanation, and I'm not trying to be difficult, but I don't agree. Because for me, I just don't find that mask engaging or scary.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to exactly pin down why. Because, I'm trying to check myself. I'm thinking of a bunch of other horror movies that are all about masked killers. For example, for a recent example, for something that leans towards comedy in its tone, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I didn't think that mask was particularly scary.
The John Carver mask,
But the movie worked in a way that Clown in the Cornfield didn't for me. Or even the mask. Like, do you think the Michael Myers mask in Halloween? Do you think the hockey mask in Friday the 13th? Is it those mask designs that are scary, or is it something else?
I think it's the sort of like dissonance between the sort of, I don't know, blankness of the mask and almost like, especially the hockey mask, like that's so like harmless, right?
So blank.
But with the freakiness of the killer. So with Jason, it's that he's intense and violent and he's big and he's slashing people and hiding. With Michael Myers, it's the way he just stands there with his blank. He almost looks like a ghost. Like his mask looks like a ghost to me, and that's why it's so alarming, because he's just standing there. And then of course, like he's got this sort of inhuman quality about him, and he's called the Shape. You know, like that's what's scary.
That's
about
a really good point, because it's not expressive. It's a cruelty and a premeditation, but a total poker face.
Yeah.
And when as humans we look for patterns, we look for signs, we watch people when we talk to them to see, so we can slightly alter our behavior based on how we're being received.
Yeah.
And there's none of that with some of these masked killers.
Right.
But Frendo does have an expression, but it's kind of intimidating in a different way. I don't know. I'm trying to popcorn these ideas because I'm not sold on any of them. I was trying to frame out this question in the notes. None of the Frendo clowns are ever scary. Why is that? And I popcorned 3 reasons here. The first could be they don't want the clown to be scary. Maybe the movie is just more interested in the commentary, the comedy, the parody part of it.
Sure.
Parody, not parry.
Who's
been playing Elden Ring?
Okay.
The second one could be, well, it's not an R-rated film, I don't believe. So maybe they're pulling their punches.
Sure.
And maybe because it's not that intense, you think of Terrifier being unrated. Of course, that's going to unnerve you more.
Yeah, but you got to like tone it down a bit for a PG-13. I get that.
Or the third one is, well, the clown mask is just a mask. It's not actually this freaky, supernatural, eternal clown like Pennywise. There's no mythology. There's no makeup. There's no ritual. There's no, forbidden past of him in a circus.
Yeah, and I wonder if sort of like to combine some of these ideas, maybe the thought was they want the townspeople to be scarier than Frendo himself, like because the real monster is not this random clown, it's this organized group of oligarchs, as they call them, sort of taking over and controlling the town. And so you don't want, when they take off the mask, you don't want it all of a sudden to not be scary. You want it to get even scarier when you sort of uncover the truth.
When we get the villain monologue at the end of the movie, when we find out that it's the leaders of the town who are collectively Frendo, none of those people scare me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't work. What they're going for doesn't work.
They're scary because they're doing something violent. But the idea of the whole town is rotten and together they are this masked killer, that didn't hit for me at all.
No.
And it's not the premise. because the new Strangers reboot a couple years ago that we talked about, I think on a buffet bonus episode,
Yeah, it might
or
have
maybe, I don't know. It's in the back catalog.
Look
We've
it up.
done 519 of these.
We were saying the other day, we're so amazed that we haven't once repeated a
It
thing in an
will
episode
happen.
before.
It will happen.
Like unknowingly covered the same thing. It's going to happen one day.
Oh, but I was talking about the Strangers.
Yeah.
There were spoilers, I guess, for a reboot. The end of that movie, the reveal is that the whole town is in on it. But all of those members of the town were scary and hostile and unnerving before that.
Yes.
I didn't find anything about these townspeople scary.
No, it was just the one main guy who's the male lead's dad. You know, that's the one guy, but he's not even scary. He's just like kind of an asshole. Nobody else is creepy or unnerving I mean, and then maybe that's supposed to be the point, is it's a twist because you never expect that the town sheriff is going to be, you know, but it means that your villain is never all that scary, and that's not great.
And all of those points I laid out before, those three kind of popcorn ideas, I can think of counterexamples for all of those. If the idea is they just wanted to do more of a comedy thing, I can think of more committed horror comedies and parodies that are also quite scary.
Yeah.
Evil Dead. But also, the first Insidious movie was PG-13.
Oh, really?
And that movie continues to be terrifying.
The movie's horrifying.
It sticks with you.
Okay, yeah.
And about the clown mask thing, I mean, we could rattle off a million masked icons that are still scary. So I don't know what it is, whether it is mask design, whether it's just about the writing, the directing, all these other essential pillars of filmmaking. But I just can't tell. And maybe the answer lies within the source material in the book series. If you've read those, let us know.
Sure, yeah.
Is Frendo scary in the books, and why? But just for watching the movie, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but and I always go in wanting to be scared. I'm the best audience. I go in wanting to have a great time.
Yeah.
And Frendo just wasn't scary to me.
Well, you know, I had a similar experience. We talked about this with Nosferatu. I did not find the Bill Skarsgård's
Interesting.
Nosferatu to be frightening at all. I mean, there are moments in that movie that are scary, but not really. And I was so disappointed. We talked about this we had 2 episodes about Nosferatu, how disappointed I was in the creature design of Nosferatu. And I understand what Eggers was going for. He was going for realism and historical accuracy, you know, with, of course, you'd have a mustache, you know, but like he just looked like a guy with a mustache. And I was so unafraid of him. And I think we really tried to pin down what was it about this that wasn't scary for me. And I don't think we had a really clear answer, because again, I think you kind of hinted this already. It's all of these pillars, all of these things have to work together. And again, that's how you make a really effective horror movie that gets under your skin and freaks you out. It's not just your character design has to be scary. It's not just the writing has to be good, or the story has to be good, or you have to build up the tension correctly. It's all of those things. And this movie is sort of not achieving, you know, the best of the best in most of those pillars. And I think that's a big part of it.
And I don't like the argument that maybe we're desensitized to horror and it's not making an impact, because I mean, especially in a theater setting, every horror movie I see feels fresh and feels exciting. You've got the great sound system, you've got the total sensory focus of that experience.
Right, yeah.
And I feel like I'm invested and scared by most horror movies.
Sure, yeah, at least like in the moment I am. A lot of them afterwards I'm not, because I'm a little desensitized. But yeah.
We saw Jaws the other day.
Yeah,
what was at the time?
effective.
What was that? PG?
Yeah,
I don't
they didn't
know.
have PG-13 back then. I don't think it was rated R.
There's
I think
no way.
I think it's just PG. Yeah, but now it would probably be PG-13 because of the boobs, and the blood. But
in that order.
In that order, yeah. But that movie is scary. Like I've seen it a million times, and like I know that the head is coming. I know that the shark is gonna pop out, but it's still very affecting. Even though like looking at a shark, it's like if you take a picture of the shark from Jaws and the clown from Clown in a Cornfield, like out of context, the clown is scarier to look at, but I'm much less afraid of the clown than I am of the shark.
It's interesting. It's almost an intangible, and it's completely subjective. Yeah, that was my big takeaway from this movie.
Yeah,
just that question.
Yeah, for sure. And like this movie was still like an enjoyable ride. I still really enjoyed watching it.
We saw it on like a Sunday night.
Yeah, there was like nobody there.
Last minute popped out to a horror movie, and we wanted a dumb, big horror movie, and I had a good time with this. I smiled like a goof over at you constantly. Also, shout out to the dad.
The dad. The mean dad?
No, the nice girl's dad.
Oh, the nice girl dad. He was
the best part of the movie.
About him. He was really great.
I really liked that dynamic.
I love a good dad. I love a dad who will kill people for his daughter. Like that's so great.
Them kind of fixing the relationship at the end of the movie, I thought that tied things up in a nice little bow.
I liked the twist with the male lead actually being gay. That was really interesting.
It was.
You know, that was fun. And honestly, it was really funny when the characters were like, oh, like that was a funny moment.
That
I really
was the
enjoyed
best reception to it.
Yes.
I thought that was perfect.
Yeah. So, you know, there were definitely some good things about this movie, and I certainly don't regret seeing it, and I've loved talking about it here with you.
Always want to support indie horror.
Yes. Well, let us know if you've seen this movie, what you think. What do you think makes a scary horror villain? What is the thing that's most important for making a movie scary?
What makes a masked killer work? What makes a scary clown work?
Because
this alchemy will differ for every person.
Totally. Do you have other scary clown wrecks? I would love to hear them. Anyway, this is, again, another installment in our Summerween series. We are talking about horror all summer long, so please stay tuned for our next episode. Important things before we wrap up. Number one, if you want to support the show, you can join our Patreon. It's $2 a month. For that low price, you can get 2 bonus episodes every month, plus access to the full back catalog of bonus episodes that we've been creating for the past, I don't know, many years now. And we mentioned the Patreon earlier. I'm sure something we mentioned is in there, but there's a lot of horror in there. We did a whole episode about female body horror, and we talked about like 5 or 6 different movies, and that was really, really fun. So check those out. Also, if you want to support the show, you can check out Cam's latest book, Lemon Tarts in Space. If you like freaky things, you can check out Cam's book. There is a freaky monster in his book. I always try with the segues. It's a light sci-fi dark comedy. It is Alien meets Monty Python. It is goofy and freaky and exciting and fun and very, very dark. You can read it as a novel, or you can listen to the fully produced audio drama. The link to support both that and the Patreon are in the description of this episode. I think that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you in a few days with another brand new episode.